I went out yesterday and was absolutely devastated. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my bubble. If you're new here, my name is Katie, and today we are out in the garden. We are in central Kentucky. I've been checking the garden every day, of course, just for regular bugs and checking on my plants. And I went out yesterday and was absolutely devastated. I did not remember to treat the stalks of the pumpkin plants with something, and I have almost lost all of them. I was extremely upset. And then not only that, but earlier in the week, my tomatoes took on a fungus. Half of the tomato was looking yellow and spotty, and all the lower leaves were dying. I immediately ran in the house, grabbed a spray bottle, put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in the bottom, and then filled it with water and gave it a good shake. Came out here, sprayed everybody down. And I'll tell you what, boys and girls, the next day, they looked better. Funguses don't like it. And like powdery mildew and stuff don't like it. Hydrogen peroxide spray, we're also going to feed everything. This is yeast, like to make your bread with. And you just put like a tablespoon of yeast in a quart jar of nice warm water and feed it with sugar, or honey, anything sweet. What we're going to do is we're going to add this to a big bucket, 5-gallon bucket of water, and then we're going to distribute it on our tomatoes and our squash. So something else I'm also wanting to get done this is the green beans are coming to an end. I am going to pull up all of my green bean plants, which, I mean, there's not a ton of them, but we're going to pull them all up, and I'm going to plant new seeds so that we can get a few crops of fresh beans in the fall. So we're going to do all that today. So I'm going to try and run the tiller. Not sure how well this is going to work out. The ground is really moist, but I'm hoping it's not too moist. It's not horribly muddy. So we'll see. At least Fitbit will be happy. Every time I run the tiller, it's like, you've gotten 1,000,000 steps in today. So I've been trying to go through all my seeds and kind of get rid of ones that are old, throw them in the ground. Hopefully they come up. If they don't, not a huge deal. I did that with some parsley and cilantro, and the parsley didn't come up, but the cilantro came up great, and they were the same age. The seeds were. So I have my sister-in-law sent me a bunch of beans, I don't know, a couple years ago, and it is, we've got Renee's Garden. They are multicolored beans. We got gold, purple, and green. They are a bush bean. I do grow bush beans. They're just easier for me to deal with. So, and then I didn't realize I grabbed these. These are a rattlesnake bean, which are long. They are a pole bean. So I'm not going to plant those. We have another bush bean heirloom seed from Annie's, which is open. I have used it before. Oh, there's another pole bean. Oops. Okay, this big pack is a bush bean. And same thing. They're a little multicolored. They take between 6 and 12 days to come up. And we're looking at 45 to 55 days of germination. So we've still got a few months, and so that gives me hopefully a month or so of bean picking out of these. This container is full of the Maxi Bell beans that I planted earlier. These are saved from my beans from last year, and I have some left. So we're just going to throw all these in the ground. I did not get all the beans canned that I wanted. We've eaten several batches fresh. I did can, I think 4 batches of pints, but I want to get some quarts in there too, because if my daughter's home eating with us, we need a quart of beans instead of just a pint. And I like to give some of the beans away. I have a cousin that has a 1-year-old, and he loves beans, and I love to give him the good homegrown beans. Of course, it's an awesome feeling that you're helping a family member to grow. So I'm going to throw these in the ground, and then I'll show you a little bit of the devastation that I have dealt with. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I was talking about earlier. We will start with the remaining pumpkin plant. Here is our pumpkin plant. There's our sweet pumpkin. Down at the bottom is where, this is where the borer weevil was. It is actually split in two, and I've got it clamped together. I did dig out the borer weevil, and our stalks have been heavily coated with the diatomaceous earth. For the most part, some of the plant did have to be cut away. And I did this yesterday. So if there was a problem, I would think that our leaves and stuff would be real wilty. Everybody's standing up straight. Everything looks good. I have high hopes. I'm just hoping that it's strong and it can heal itself and withstand the damage. Something else I wanted to show you guys was the rust fungus, what it looks like and what you need to look for on your plants, which this is probably the best one. I do need to come through and clip all this off. But on this leaf, if you see the little spots, that's a good indication. Which these spots actually look a little better because of the hydrogen peroxide mixture. Most likely I spread this when I was tying them up. See, if we look down that way, everybody looks good. It hasn't spread anymore, so that's good. Now, the hydrogen peroxide mixture, we only spray it on once every couple of weeks. So I hit them last week, and I will wait until next week to hit all of these tomatoes again. But they're looking good. These have actually changed color a little bit. If you look next door, see how green that one is? And then we're starting to look a little yellow. So I'm so excited. I want one of my own tomatoes so very badly. And the basil is doing fantastic. It is growing in leaps and bounds. We do come out and pick our tops off. There we go, just like that. That way, this will become two separate branches when it comes up. There, see this one? So these two will become two separate branches. See how I've already done that to this one. We'll do it to this one too. And then these are ready to eat. And then something else that's done really well is our sweet potatoes. They're doing fantastic. There are a few holes. There's not a whole lot of predators necessarily for sweet potato vine. I think the Japanese beetles eat on them a little bit. I don't have too much of a problem, knock on wood, something, knock on anything, here with Japanese beetles. I don't need to set out traps and things like this. So we have a few tomatoes over here that I had transplanted that popped up in various places, just volunteers. Not for sure exactly what they are. I think maybe the one in the middle behind Kevin is a big German stripey, just by the way the leaves look. So far, they have not been afflicted by the rust fungus, which is great. It means I did not spread it to them. I do have one leaf that is a little yellow, a little iffy, but we're going to trim the bottom of these, and I am going to go on and spray them with the hydrogen peroxide mixture just as a preventative. So if it's not there, let's not let it be there, right? Now we're going to make our fertilizer with our yeast water, 5-gallon bucket. And then I know everything is really moist, and we have a 40 to 60% chance of rain every day. We've just had random pop-ups for I think like 2 weeks now, and this week is no different. So this is about, I think, the wettest summer that we've had in a long time. But we are going to go on and give our beans a water so they get a nice head start, just in case we don't get rain today. Because, like I said, it is supposed to get up to around 90. So we want to make sure that everybody is nice and moist. This is the bucket that I put compost in up on the front porch. I have a little container in the kitchen, and then I just dump it in here to bring it to the garden. There is coffee ground stuck down in the bottom. So, of course, if you're a gardener, you know this isn't going to hurt a thing. I'm going to give your yeast water a shake because it will fall to the bottom. And we want to make sure that we get all of it. My tool is bent. Oh. Stir in our bucket. This is my favorite tool. This is a stirrup hoe. I heard somebody else call it something else, and to be honest, I do not remember what they called it. But so named because it looks like a stirrup on a horse saddle, and both sides are sharp so that you can just scrape those weeds off right at the surface. This thing is a miracle tool when it's dry. And I just noticed, along with all my other problems, it's bent. I'm not really for sure how that even happened. It's just my gardening year this year. It really is. Oh well. We're going to give our new tomatoes a splash first. One thing about gardening is you just really can't take things to heart. I almost cried yesterday as far as my pumpkins. I was just really upset. But other things have done well. I'm picking cucumbers, the squash or the zucchini, and some of the squash look really good. The butternut squash are doing well. And the tomatoes, they're doing okay. I think they just need a boost. These are doing really well. Because you just never know what's going to happen with gardening. Do great with some things, and maybe not so great with others. It really just depends. Fertilizing is key, of course, keeping your plants healthy. Don't want to over-fertilize, though. I have not fertilized in about a month. And I did use a commercial fertilizer. I wasn't overly thrilled with it, so we're going back to the yeast mixture. I know that this works well. Oh. One thing that is doing pretty well is these are my loofah gourds. And loofah gourds, at least with my experience, are a fairly slow growing vine. Now, once they start putting off the loofah gourd, they do really well. That goes fairly quickly. but the vine is kind of slow starting. So I don't know that this is something you could grow in colder temperatures. It very much needs our whole summer to grow. Got one on the other side too. We'll give it a little bit. We're going to go around the garden and give everybody else a nice drink. Something else that's always exciting. If you watched one of my earlier videos, I had left a couple radishes to bloom. They put off a lovely little white and purple or purple and white bloom, and then you get a seed pod. So some of these have dried. I left one plant because they do put off a lot of seeds. So there it is. These are all of our little seed pods all the way down. See, look at all those. That's a lot. And each seed pod has a substantial amount of seeds in it. So these are still a little moist. They're not totally dry, but that's okay. Let's see. I say substantial. This one had like 5 seeds in it, this one little pod. Oh, and I showed you how many pods we got. That's a lot. So I could actually open some of these up and kind of spread them out, and I would get fall radishes. Radishes can be grown twice a year here. They are fairly cold tolerant. So along with your cabbages and your broccolis, radishes are one of those plants that you can start early, and you can start in the middle of the season and pick later. So I did yesterday go on and pot a bunch of cabbage seeds and broccoli seeds, and they are up in pots at the house. They will not actually go out into the garden until around August, mid-August, which they will have to be covered immediately because of the cabbage worms and the fire bugs and the just tremendous amount of things that eat all that stuff. So last year I had a little bitty fall garden. I don't normally do a fall garden. Actually, last year was my first time in 20 years of gardening that I tried to do a fall garden, and it turned out really well. I did get a few heads of cabbage, and I got just a few beautiful heads of broccoli, and no bugs to worry about because I covered it all with netting. And then I pay attention when the plants are young, just to make sure there are none of the cabbage moth larvae on them from where they have set out to germinate up at the house. But everything went well, and I am going to do it again this year. So now I need to give my beans a quick watering, and we're good. I am melting. It has definitely warmed up since I've been out here. It is now 9:35. So I've been out here little over an hour and a half, about an hour and a half. I think everything has gone really well in that short amount of time. And though yesterday was very heartbreaking, I have high hopes, because though I am a week or so late on getting the beans out as far as getting a fall crop, it looks like that we're not going to frost until a little bit later than normal. And if I need to, I can cover them up for the first few frosts, and still get beans out of them. So that makes me feel a lot better. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today while I built up a good sweat. Our yeast mixture, the recipe will be listed below. Your plants really would love it. It is natural. The yeast is easy for the plants to absorb, and they do really like it. I will also put the ingredients for the hydrogen peroxide mixture, which is just uber simple, just like the yeast mixture. If you are a returning viewer, I super appreciate it. And if you're a new viewer, hit the like button, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. There's more to come. We're in the kitchen a lot as well. I try to do easy recipes. Quick and easy is the game, right? So, but I really hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.